Good morning, friends. Did somebody just do a subscription already this morning? Wowzers. What did I miss here? Did I see that wrong? Good morning, friends. How is everybody today? Are y'all ready to make this beautiful, beautiful square? I have to tell y'all, I got a new tablet. I broke down and got an iPad. Lordy me, oh my, the size of this. I can't hardly even see this text. I made it as big as I could. I don't know if this thing's gonna work, which is a bummer because I spent a lot of money on this thing. Let's see if I can twist this around maybe a little better. I don't know if that's any better. Maria, good morning. Sorry, y'all. I gotta be able to see these comments. Maybe if I tip this down a little bit. I don't know if that's any better. Julie, good morning. Jennifer, how are you? Good morning. Mitchie said, glad I caught you. What size do you make your wheelchair blankets? I make them, oh, there we go. That works. I make them a size 35 by 45. 35 by 45. Valdlocks, good morning. Y'all, we're going to be making this beautiful square this morning. Leah, good morning. Cassie is here. Good morning, friend. Kelly, how are things in Tennessee? It's a little bit foggy here this morning, I'll tell you. Anywho, at least I could figured out the comments here. But I adjusted the text size on the iPad, and I also adjusted the text size on TikTok as big as I could get it. But I don't know, it's still pretty small. But the screen is a lot bigger, so that's a good thing. I don't know. It might just take a little practice. So, Kimmy Joe, good morning. Mitchie, you are very, very welcome. Let's see. Is this square difficult to do? Nicole, it looks complicated, but I'm going to break this down. It really is not that hard to do. I would say it's probably an intermediate square. If you're a beginner, it's probably going to be a stretch. Probably going to be a stretch, but if you're like borderline, I think you could do it. Kate, good morning. How are you? Gen X is here. All right, Jen. So, good morning. Jen is our moderator. Let's get this party started. Joan, good morning. So, first and foremost, I am using this morning. I love this yarn. This is the colorway Cranberry. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? You could use any red that you've got around for this square, though, guys. This would be a good scrap buster, too, if you've got red left over from a project. I'm pairing it with Forest. Oh my gosh, aren't they beautiful? It just feels like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Okay. I know it's a little early for Christmas songs, and some of you are gonna like smack me around already. Take a moment. Good morning, Karen. How are you? Bloom, thank you so much for your subscription. You've automatically been entered into the subscriber celebration for the month of July. We're going to do that tomorrow at 8 a.m. Now, for the center of this square, guys, I had some baby yarn laying around. So it's a thinner yarn. That way, the center of our square, the center of our poinsettia, can stay relatively small. Now, you could try to use a 4-weight. I have not tried it with a 4-weight, so you would have to experiment. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But if you have a 2-weight or a 3-weight, that would be ideal. This is actually a 2 fine weight, really, really thin yarn. I still used a size I9 even with this tiny center, though. Okay. Cindy, good morning. Karina is here. Good morning. Deborah, how are you? Um, yes, thank you. Viv, good morning. Yes, I am on YouTube this morning. Kate, great question. Great, great question. So this morning I'm both on TikTok and on YouTube. And so we'll be able to go back and rewatch this. And this is very important because a week from now, y'all, I'm not going to remember what the heck I did. But what do you say? Y'all want to get started on this? Red Lady is here. Good morning. We're going to start in the very center. Now, guys, this is a dimensional square. You can see the little petals. I did tack them down, but we're going to make first this really pretty flower. And I have to say, sorry, squirrel moment. I was laying there in bed this morning. I've been making all these bucket hats, and some of them are like this beigeish color, this real neutral. And I thought I was laying there in bed and I was thinking, Oh my goodness. I have to make this into a sunflower and put the sunflower on one of the bucket hats. Like, make it with brown in the middle and then the yellow, like, gold petals. My wheels were turning. My wheels were turning. I never stopped thinking about crochet. I don't know if you guys are like that. Okay, so let's move these yarns to the side so I can get some room here in my lap to work. No puppy. Well, Ammo is here inside. Mo is here inside this morning, guys. But Diesel, he's outside with a bone and a peanut butter ball. So hopefully we'll have a little less chaos this morning as we're working on our square. All right. Nicole, yes, I am live this morning, both on TikTok and on YouTube. My handle on YouTube is Wheeler 8 Acres, and you can find me over there. Look under the live tab, and you can see all of the previous um, videos that we did. I might need to move this up a little bit. Hang on. Let me move this up, folks. Make sure I can still see here. Miss Mary, good morning. Okay, am I on screen here? Let's try to stay on frame this morning, April. I'm going to give myself a bit of a tail here to weave in, okay? And I'm going to start with a chain center here, friends. A lot of times I do a magic ring. If you want to make a magic ring, go for it. That's totally fine. Oh, thank you, Nicole, for finding me over there on YouTube. I appreciate that. My handle, guys, if you're not over on my YouTube, is Wheeler 8 Acres. Same handle. And every time I go live, everything gets saved out. So I'm going to start with a chain of 3 for my center. Now, this is a very thin yarn I'm using, and I'm using a size I9 hook. Hang on. I don't know if I have the comments on my TV turned on for my YouTube. Let me make sure. Can somebody write a comment on YouTube if you're watching over there? Make sure I can see the comments. Okay, now I'm going to join with a slip stitch right here to the very first stitch, and I go into the back bump. So I want this center to be very small, okay? If you feel more comfortable with a chain of 4, do that. That is totally fine. I'm going to be working right into this little center part here. Now, as we look at the center, we're actually going to be working puff stitches. Oh, Karina, thank you. I can see that. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jen. So we're going to be doing little baby puff stitches because our yarn is thinner. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little puffs into that center. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start the first one here. Friends, we're going to be doing a lot of stitch talk today. Lots of stitch talk. The mods will do their best to answer and pin comments for me. I apologize in advance if I miss your comment. Feel free to ask again. I will do my very, very best, okay? I'm going to pull my yarn up kind of tall here, and I'm going to yarn over. Oh no, Laura, I use my scissors as kind of my pointer when I'm teaching. It's like the little pin pointer. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. And I'm not going to finish this. We're just going to leave these 3 loops chilling up here. Now we're going to yarn over, go right back down in. Again, pull up another loop. Again, pull it up as tall as you can. Get that kind of stretched out. And one more time. We need a total of 3 loops for this little puff stitch. Oh, sorry, I'm wandering off screen. If I wander off screen today, y'all smack me, all right? Yarn over. Now I'm going to pull through all these loops and chain 1 to lock it in. Okay, so there's our first puff stitch. We need a total of 8 of these little guys. Good morning, Sparky. Yarn over. Again, pull up a loop, pull it up tall. A lot of people struggle with their puff stitches because they don't pull it up tall enough when they first get going. And again, pull that up. And here is number 3. Pull that up. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 1 to lock it in. Now we have 2 puffs. Puff, puff. Mama Wheeler spent the night last night in Henderson, Nevada. She's working her way back from Oregon after visiting my niece. So she'll probably be on the live again tomorrow. We've had a couple weeks without Mama Wheeler. I know I'm missing her. I bet you guys are too. I just learned that the hard way making flower keychains. Yeah, this you could make a flower keychain with probably. Again, make sure you pull that puff stitch, the first one up very, very tall. Naturally, they're going to kind of collapse in on you and make them a little smaller. Once you get your starting loop here, 2, 4, 6, total of 7 loops, yarn over, pull through all three, chain one to lock it in. I just keep scooting these over to the side as I need it. Also note, I am working over this tail, and that will help us to weave in that tail as we go along and close that hole up a little smaller. Kelly said, is she bringing the hatch chilies? Not yet. When they make it back to, they have a place both in Arizona and in um, Florida. So they're going to be in Arizona, I think, for a couple months, and probably, I think it's September when they head back. So they'll be there hanging out, doing the Arizona stuff for a while. Then when they come back, yes, they will bring the hatch chilies. Where am I at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two more puffs. Just keep scooching these around. 8 is a little hard to get in here, but it can be done. Okay. We definitely need 8 for our little center. Thank you all so much for all of the screen taps this morning. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. I know I am. I've been excited to get on and do this poinsettia square. It's been rolling around in my brain for a couple weeks now, if not more, like a month. Okay, so we have 8 puffs. Let me double check, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch here, and I'm going to snip off. Okay, again, I'm going to give myself kind of a bit of a tail here to weave in. I thought you were going to the El Supermercado. I was going to try to do that, but they found them in Arizona. And so, Nikki, thank you so much for the summer suns this morning. I appreciate that. I got to twist this, you guys. I can't see. I got a glare on this screen. I can't see. Gen X woke up thinking it was Friday. Don't you hate that? It's going to be a very long week for you, sweetie. Whenever that happens to me, it's like, oh no. When you get to do Friday like over 3 times and it's like just drags. Okay, so here's our very center. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and I'm going to weave in this tail of our center. Okay, but you could have them tomorrow instead of waiting months. I know. I only make that green chili casserole like every other month. So I'm good. And this is good because when they get here, Sparky, that will be one of our breakfasts that we have as a family. So it's okay. It's okay with waiting. So again, guys, weave in your tail here all the way around. And I'm trying to split the fibers, go in between your strands. This is only a 2-strand yarn, so it's a little hard to do, but I'm going to go around quite a number of times here as I tighten up this center and kind of get this into a little more of a shape of a center of a poinsettia. Okay. And this is a great way to use up your scraps too. I had this yarn. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yarn, this yellow, and I'm not going to use enough of it today to make a difference, but it is good to be using some of it. I've been on a major scrap busting expedition lately. Snippity snip, 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 snip. Okay, so here is our center of our flower. Next, we're going to start making these fabulous petals. And I know you guys are looking at this going, oh my gosh, this looks really, really complicated. It is really not that complicated. And I'm going to break this down and show you. As I've mentioned before, crochet is like an illusion of how these stitches go together. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to make the very center part. You see this little stripe through here on each of those petals? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Can you see it there, that little line of texture? That is what we're going to do first, okay? And I got to remember how I did this because it's been a few days. So I might have to do some experimenting. So bear with me here. I think I know what I did. Okay. We're going to start with a slip knot on our hook. And we need a total of 8 of these petals, okay? So we're going to be working in between each of these little puff stitches that we did. So for the first one here, I go into that space and we're going to join with a slip stitch. Okay, I kind of get that cinched down there. Now here we go. We're going to start these petals. We're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, are you with me? Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the back bump all the way down. Move to the back bump of the next stitch, slip stitch, back bump, slip stitch, all the way. And I'm experimenting here. I skipped the first stitch. I don't know if I like that. That's kind of too squared off. Let's pull this back out. We got to go back right into that first stitch instead of skipping it, okay? So this is going to be a little tight, but let's try to go into this one and see if it works up a little better. Okay, so here's our first stitch, slip stitch. Here's number 2. I know you all are scratching your head right now going, say what? Why is she doing it like this? It's going to all make sense. I promise it's going to all come together. And like I said, I think this would be a really cool sunflower too. Okay, so here we are, very last one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch back into that same stitch for number 8. Okay. So there's what we have. Little curly arm there. Good morning, Angela. How are you? Okay. Now I'm going to work into the next stitch. I'm going to attempt to work over these tails. Into the next stitch, slip stitch, chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now into the very first stitch that I just made, we're going to slip stitch into the back bump. If you find that hard to do, you could skip the first one and go into the second. It probably would not be the end of the world. Debbie, good morning. Is that Miss Macy in the house? Macy, how are you, friend? Y'all, if you're just joining on, we're making this poinsettia square. Beautiful poinsettia, okay? So we're going to be doing a lot of stitch talk today. I'm going to try my best to keep up with the comments, but some of these stitches are a little small and I have to kind of focus on them. So I apologize in advance if I miss the comment. Our mods will most certainly try to answer the question for you as well. If you are new to my channel, my name is April and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on in the morning before I go to my 9 to 5 job. I work remote in Arizona, and I'm here in Alabama this morning. We have a bit of a time difference, and so it allows me to come on and crochet with y'all before I get going to work. Okay, so here we go. We've done 7. Now remember, for the last one, you're going to go right back in to that very first space there and slip stitch. Okay, so now we have 2 spines. Can you see how our spines are working up? So as we look at our petals, I know you're thinking, well, how is she going to turn this into a petal? But what we've done is, you can see we've put working stitches on one side and working stitches on the other. So then what we're going to do as we come back around, we're going to add stitches on one side and then stitches on the other side. If y'all have ever made like a fish applique is made the same way as you do this. You would just make it like this, and instead you would have like a little tail that comes out here, little eye. Okay, so once you learn this concept, you can actually apply this to other types of work that you do. And you know what? I'm working on the back. I should be working on the front, but why did I do that? We're going to let it slide. All right. I started, this is the back of my, this is the front, or should I rip it out? It's just for It's just for demonstration. Let's let it slide. Okay. So now after I do my slip stitch, I'm going to move to the next. and I'm going to uh, slip stitch. Let me get my working yarn into the next space. Okay, so right in between those puffs. Now I'm going to chain 8. You know what? This is bothering me. I have to turn this over. I have to frog this, y'all. I have to work from the front. I can't. I have to. Did y'all just cringe inside? I'm sorry. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I have to work on the front of this. Okay. Here's the front. Let's try again. We're frogging. Ribbit, ribbit. Okay. In the very first space, we're going to slip stitch. Chain 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm laughing at myself, friends. I couldn't let it go. I could not let it go. Is that Leah I see here? Leah is in the chat, you guys. Wait, I have to show you all. Where's my little guy? Here's my little guy. I've been waiting for Leah to come on, and Leah has been busy with life. You know how life happens. I commissioned Leah to make me a little dumpster fire. This is her pattern that she has. This is a knit item, and I'm not very good at knitting. She has this pattern on Ravelry, but it's a little dumpster fire, and normally they're green. And they've got red and yellow flames. And I said, oh no, I have to have something fancier. I said, I need big, juicy lips and bright, fun hair. It has the little flaps, though, for the garbage lid. Isn't it cute? And it's even got the little pickup things for the forks. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. Anyhow, she has these on her page. I commissioned her to make this for me. I don't know if she's still doing that. She has a very busy schedule right now. But she was kind enough. I sent her some doll hairs and I got this in return. Isn't it cute, you guys? She's so cute. So anyhow, somebody pin Miss Leah because she is so creative. I love it. I love it. Love it. Okay. Um, for the center, I started with a chain of 3. You could also do a chain of 4, and or you could do a magic ring, okay? And then I did 8 puff stitches into the very center. Now I used a very thin yarn. I used a 2-ply baby yarn because I wanted this center to be very small. So if you guys are just hopping on, that is how I made the center. Either a magic ring or a chain and then 8 puff stitches into the very middle. Now, guys, if you have to hop off and go to work and go on with your daily lives, that is no problem. We are on YouTube this morning as well. So you could go back and rewatch this if you want to see how to make this poinsettia square. Right now, what I'm doing after I chain 8, I slip stitch into the back bump all the way back down until I get to the very center. Okay. So this stitch right here is number 7 slip stitch. It's going to kind of curl at a sideways. That's okay. Don't worry about that. And then for the very last stitch, I'm going to slip stitch back to the very in between those puff stitches. This is how come it got twisted up. Make sure you're going, as you do this, it kind of twists. Go into, make sure you're working on the right side. That's what happened to me last time. It just about happened again. Okay, so there's our first little spine. This reminds me of a starfish. Okay, so now what we're going to do, hey Mandy, good morning. Thanks for being here. Move to the next space in between your puffs and again, slip stitch. We're going to do a total of 8 of these little spines. And now I'm going to do 8 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. JT received a subscription from Hannah. Thank you, Miss Hannah. That was so kind of you. We're doing our subscriber celebration tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central. You do not have to be here. If you are the big WINNER, I will definitely DM you. But for the month of July, we're doing 4 cinnamon squirrel cakes, as I like to call them, color of your choosing. If you are the um, if you are the winner, okay. So, thank you so much to all the subscribers. Just my way of saying thank you. Hannah sent subscription by 3. Rita received a subscription. And Leslie received a subscription. And who is the third? Did I miss the third? I must have missed it. And you obtained a limited edition sticker from the Subwave. All right, we're having a Subwave, y'all. So that is exciting. After you finished your last slip stitch, right back down into that same space and do a slip stitch. So that will be your number 8. So it works out to be 7 here and then number 8. Now I'm going to go right to the next space here. Again, slip stitch. Hannah sent out 6 subscriptions. Hannah, thank you so much. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chains. Okay, right back into that first stitch in the back bump, slip stitch. And we're going to slip stitch all the way down. Again, making a little starfish arm. I think my mom, one of her blankets that she made is a little under the sea blanket. She made it like the sand and the blue wave and stuff, blue waves. And she's going to make little sea creatures. She might have to go back and watch this little video because she might be able to turn something like this into a starfish. Don't you think it kind of could be a starfish? Okay, so right back down in. Shan received a subscription from Hannah. Karen, you have received a subscription from Hannah. I tell you, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas in here with all this gifting. Mary, good morning. This is what we're making, friends, if you're just coming on. And we've got a subwave happening. The subscriber celebration for the month of July is happening tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central. So you're getting on just in time. Okay, slip stitch to the next. Nikki has sent out 5 subscriptions. Nikki! Wow, Summer Storm, you've received a subscription. Danny Lee has received a subscription. And Andrea has received a subscription. Let's see. Lou Crochets has received a subscription. Wow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Brooke has received a subscription. Congratulations to all the new subs. Just in time for the squirrel cake action. Gotta love it. Congratulations to all the new subscribers. And thank you, Nikki. That was so generous. You are too sweet. Okay, let's see here. I think that we still have the subwave happening, guys. So there's still time to get in on that if you would like to. It'll probably give us another sub sticker. What was the new sub sticker that we got? Did anybody see it? You might have to exit and come back in. Were you able to see any new stickers? Nikki Claus is in the house. That's right. Did I see Shay is here? Good morning, Shay from Texas. Texas whiskey in the house. All right, we're going to slip stitch right back down into that first stitch. Move to the next space. Again, slip stitch. Chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And Hannah Claus. Nikki and Hannah Claus, right? Gotta love that. Spreading the love. Spreading the Wheeler love. Get in on the Wild Wheeler action. All right. And Kate can see the little stickers. She's got Mo and Diesel, little Diesel's outside. I gave him an antler this morning and he's got his peanut butter ball. So this morning's a little less chaotic around here. So that part is good. So are you guys surprised with how I'm making these petals? Is this your first time seeing something like this? Have you seen this before where you make these little spines and then come back and work the petals? Raise your hand if this is something new that you have not seen before. At first, I was like surprised. I don't remember what I watched. A spider. Yeah, it does look like a spider, right? Michelle said it's new. Uh, Vicky says she's seen it. Well, Vicky, we know, is very well crochet seasoned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 chains. Kate says this is new. Cassie said it's new. Yeah, it's kind of fun to learn a new concept, right? Okay, we're going to slip stitch into the back bumps and work our way all the way back down this chain that I just made. This is, you have to be patient with this, guys. It's like when you do a starting chain and you have to work that first stitch and it's like annoying and takes a long time and works your patience. This project is like that. Okay. So when you go to make this square, make sure that you are well rested and you're able to spend a little time with it. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. If you are new to my channel, my name is April. I'm a hobby crocheter. And this morning, friends, if you're just coming on, we're making this poinsettia square. Isn't she lovely? I would sing that all to you, but I don't have that great of a singing voice. But now I'm sure you have that in your head. Really, really pretty. So we're making the foundation. I swear it looks like a starfish. So cute. Okay. So we're going to move. If you're just coming, what we did is into a magic ring or a chain ring, you are going to make 8 puff stitches. Now we're working on the petals. They will naturally curl like this. Once we go back and add more stitches to these spines, they will straighten out, okay? So 8 puff stitches into this. If you missed the first part, you can go back and rewatch this on YouTube. We are live this morning, both on TikTok and on YouTube. Would help if I was using the red yarn. And so you'll be able to go back and rewatch this. My handle on YouTube, if you're not following over there, is Wheeler 8 Acres, same as here on TikTok. Okay. So I slip stitch into the next space here. I don't know what that stitch is doing there. We'll hopefully get it closed up. Okay, we're going to chain 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the back bump. Okay, so when you look at a chain, one side you've got your sideways V's, if you can see them there. The other side is the back bump. We want to work into the back bump. So I'm going to slide my hook underneath that bump, pull my yarn, and then slip stitch, pull it right back through. Slip stitch into the next. We're just going to work our way all the way back down the side. Oh my gosh. Nikki has sent 5 more subscriptions. Look at all these new subscribers. Congratulations. Welcome, welcome. If you are new to the channel, how exciting. Nikki Claus is here. I'll tell you, y'all, it does feel like Christmas today. Now, friends, we're going to do the subscriber celebration tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll do that here on the live. You do not have to be present to win, but we're definitely going to do that tomorrow. Okay, when I get to the very bottom, I slip stitch in to that same stitch there. Now I'm going to move to the next stitch. Again, I'm working over my yellow tail here and slip stitch right into the next space. Now we're going to chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nikki Claus is sending presents again. I know. Thank you so much, Nikki. That is very exciting. I appreciate all of your guys' support. You all are amazing. I can't say enough thank yous in this world. Arlene, good morning. How are you, friend? Funny67 said thank you as a recipient of the new subscription. Very, very exciting. So for the every month we do a little celebration as my way to say thank you. And for this month, the month of July, we are doing 4 cinnamon swirl cakes. The Karen, as I like to call them, squirrel cakes. Um, and anyhow, we're going to do that tomorrow on the live at 8 a.m. And you all get to, whoever the lucky guy or gal is gets to pick whatever colors you can mix and match. However you want to do that is totally cool. I'll DM you and we can set something up. All right. So slip stitch to the next stitch. Now this was our last little spider leg, starfish arm, flower vein, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to join here with a slip stitch to this very first stitch that I did. Okay. So let's recap here for those that are just hopping on. We need to count our little spines and make sure April counted right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spines. Nikki, thank you so much for the roses. Okay, so as you can see, we have 8 petals here. The subscriber includes the YouTube channel members. Okay, so Kazi, on YouTube, you have an option now to become a member over there. It is $2.99 per month. And so it's the same. And yes, I will include those in as well. Thank you so much. What was that? A soccer ball? That was very cool. All sorts of new stuff. Um, so anyhow, if you want to become a member over on YouTube, so for example, I'll use Queen 530, our friend Esther. She also is subscribed over on YouTube, but what Esther did is she also got a YouTube membership. So for the month of July, when I make the wheel, Esther will her name will be on there twice because she is subbed over on not subbed, she's a member over on YouTube. They call them members. She pays every month. And also she is a subscriber here on TikTok. So she gets the twofer. So if you all want to do that, if you want to go over and subscribe or become, I keep saying subscribe, they call it something different over there. It's to become a member. You have to become a member. Let's see. Uh, Marcia said, I want to become a member, but my card has been hacked for over $200, so I just don't have a card. Just woke up. Well, welcome in, Marcia. No problem. Maybe next month. We're gonna do it again next month too, y'all. So don't worry if you can't get in on this month's action. But over on YouTube, if you want to become a member, you will also be included in the giveaway for the month of July. Okay. So here we go. We're going to start these petals now. I was going to talk about the petals. So each one of these little arms, okay, you have to kind of envision this, is what goes up the very center of this petal. Can you see that? So see this little part right here, this little accent piece? As we look at that, that is this part right here. Okay. So as we look at the sides of the spine, this side we have 2 loops. This side we have 2 loops. So what we're going to do is we're going to start very small here at the beginning. We're going to work our way out taller, and then we're going to get back smaller. Then we're going to chain 2 up here at the top. Again, small stitches, working our way out, making it bigger, and then back into small stitches. Now, the thing is, as we look at these stitches, I'm not going to work into this front loop. So as we look at these, here are the 2 stitches. They're a sideways V. I'm only going to work into this back loop, this one that's down here. What that will do is it'll leave this line of texture, which is what we see right here on the petal. Okay. So we're going to do single crochet, half double, double. Okay, double will be our very biggest. Then we're going to go back down, half double, single. Here we have our chain 2, and then we're going to repeat that on the opposite side. Okay, so that's how we're going to work this. My hook fell out. Okay, so here we go. Now, let me get my yarn here. Where's my working yarn? Here's my working yarn. So you can see I slip stitch here. We're going to slip stitch right up here to this very first stitch. And again, working into the back loop only. So ignore this one that's here closest to your left hand if you're right-handed. And I'm just going to slip stitch right here. Okay, then I'm going to go into the next and we're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to do a half double. Okay, so you can see we're getting bigger here. Now we're going to do a double. And I'm using US terms here. Okay, and then right back down in. Rita, good morning. Rita, you were gifted a subscription this morning. I think it came from either Nikki or from Hannah. I can't remember which one. Half double. Now here we go into the last single crochet. Okay, so you can see half of our petal is made. Now we have to get up and over this mountain. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to chain two. Now we're going to start working back down the mountain into the first stitch. We're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to go to a half double, getting bigger, double crochet, half double. Put these spines out of the way. Sorry, they're kind of flying up there. Okay, then we're going to do a single, and then we're going to do a slip stitch, and that is how our petal is going to look. It doesn't look quite pointy up here as these ones did. Let's go back and rework this. I think I may have needed to skip one of those stitches. I'm going to pull this out. We're going to frog this out. I think what I did, see how this one is flying up here in the air? I should have skipped that one, the very top one, and gone here into the second one. So let's do that instead. We'll do a slip stitch, see if we can get that a little pointier. Okay, now we're going to do single crochet, half double, double. Gosh, y'all, the comments are flying really fast today, and I really have to look at this work. So I apologize if I miss your comment. I'm trying very hard to keep up and see these stitches. Okay, now we're going to do a slip stitch for the very last one. Okay, so here is our little petal. You got to kind of give him a little shimmy and a shake to kind of get him into shape. But that is what that is looking like. I kind of skipped up too high on this one. It's all right. Won't make a difference. We'll iron that out on the next one. Okay, so here we are, back down. Now what I need to do is I need to do a slip stitch. We're going to go into this next stitch here and slip stitch right into that space again. So now we're going to go into the first stitch here. Let's count this. So if I do single, half double, double, half double, single, that's not enough. Let's do this. Let's do single. Let's do half double. Let's do half double again. I think I like this better. Now let's do double. Again, I'm working into the back loop. Half double. Get in there, little guy. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Work with mama. Come on. Half double. Single. I like that better, I think. That looks better. Okay, now we're going to chain two. Now we're going to work it back down the other side. So let's do, does a slip stitch work good there? Yeah, I think so. Single. You might have to play around with this to get your petals kind of pointy. I'm sure I'll get a rhythm here after I get going. Like I said, it's been a few days since I made this. I don't remember exactly what I did. Okay, Texas whiskey, no problem. Two, that should have been a double. Whoopsies. Half double. We're going to do a lot of these petals, so just stick with me here. Double, half double, another half double. Teresa, thank you so much for your subscription. You've automatically been entered into the subscriber celebration for the month of July. We're doing that tomorrow at 8 a.m. Would it not come out pointier if you chained three at the top? Christy, it probably would. Let's try it on the next one. All right, Christine? So there we go. That's with a chain of two. Okay, so now I'm going to slip stitch right into this next space here so we can start working on our next petal. Okay, so if you change it up, if you miss a stitch, y'all, it's not going to be perfect. Okay, however, when you look at a flower, they're not perfectly symmetrical. So here you go. This is what we're making today, friends. If you're just coming on, we're making a poinsettia square. Debbie says, Gen X, do April have 99 cents monthly membership? Debbie, over on YouTube, you can become a member for $2.99. You just have to click the join button on YouTube, and then you'll be entered into the monthly celebration as well. So over on YouTube, click the join button. You have to be a member on YouTube, not a subscriber. Okay. On TikTok, you're considered a subscriber. It's $2.99 for a subscriber. And on YouTube, it's $2.99 for a member. Same thing. Okay. So, anyhow, in the very center here of this square, friends, we started either with a magic ring. I did a chain of 3, and I worked 8 puff stitches into that magic ring or the chain center. Okay. So then now we're working on these petals. So, what I did is in each of the spaces, I did a slip stitch with my red yarn. This is Cranberry. I love this yarn. And I did a chain of 8. I chained up 8. Then I worked into the back bump and I did a slip stitch all the way back down. And then I slip stitched again to the very center and then did another chain of 8, slip stitched into the back bump again. And I did that in all 8 of the spaces. Okay. Now what we're doing is we're coming back and we're adding the petal structure of the poinsettia to these little arms. Okay. So the way that we do this, I'm going to go into the first stitch into the back loop. So as I look at these stitches, you can see there's 2 loops. Okay. It looks like a sideways V. You can see it right here. Instead of going under both, I'm going under this one that's away from me only. Okay. I'm ignoring this front one. And what that does is it leaves this little line of texture right here behind. So it leaves it like a little spine. So the other thing that you could do if you wanted to change up your colors and actually have your like veins of your petal be a different color, you could do this like in a brighter red. For example, like if I'm going to do a sunflower, maybe I could do this in a lighter gold and then have the petals be darker gold so that way it kind of shines through. It kind of gives it like some texture, right? For this, we're just using all the same colors because it's easier for me to teach it that way. Okay, I'm going to first do a slip stitch into the first stitch, and we're going to get from smaller to larger. So now I'm going to do a single crochet. Then I'm going to do a half double. We're going to do another half double. And guys, if you wanted your petals to be taller, you would just chain more than 8 stitches, right? You would chain 10 or 12, and then you would just make more of these graduated up. You could totally modify this. Okay, wrap my yarn around. Now we're going to do a double crochet. And, if you wanted your petals to be fatter, you would just add in a treble right now. Okay, now we're going to do a half double and a single crochet. Now, Christine mentioned, and I like that idea. What happens if instead of a chain 2 here to go up and over, if we did a chain of 3? Let's try that. Chain 3 into the first stitch here. I'm going to slip stitch into this very first one, and then I'm going to do a single crochet. So if you do a chain of 3, what happens is you end up with this hole here. And I'll be honest, I'm not too much of a fan of that hole. So let's go back to the 2 chains instead of 3. Frog this out just so we can see how that looks instead. I was doing a chain of 2 before. Chain 2. Now let's slip stitch into the very first one here. See how that makes it less of a hole right there? I like that better. Now we're going to do a single crochet, but it doesn't hurt to experiment, guys. That's how I come up with these things is I watch other videos, I see other people's techniques, and then I just go off and, kind of do my own thing. What if you slip stitched into the last one with a chain? How would that look? What if you slip stitched into the last one with a chain? Hang on, let me rewind this. Linda, you might have to tell me more here. Okay, so I'm at the very end here, okay? We just did a single crochet. So are you saying to chain one? Am I chaining one here, Linda, or not? Or stacked single? Uh, Instead of doing your change to begin with. Not sure I'm following. You wanted me to do one chain and then slip stitch? Is that what you're saying? No, slip stitch first. So don't do any chain at all. Just slip stitch right here. Is that what you mean? I think I see what you mean here. That's going to make it rounded. Then do the next one as a single. Is that what you mean? And then do our half double. It just gives you a rounded petal if you do a slip stitch here versus a pointy petal. Then you need to chain one. Slip stitch. Hang on. Okay, here's my last stitch. I did a single crochet. So you want me to slip stitch here? Hang on. Slip stitch, chain one, now slip stitch again. I think I'm following you. I think I'm putting up what you're putting down, picking up what you're putting down. Single crochet. Is that what you mean? Did I do it right? Uh, she's saying slip into the last chain one, then slip. I give up. I give up. Jules, I give up. I don't know. Honestly, it looks fine. I think it looks fine. I don't know. I don't know that there's that much of a difference between this and this, honestly. Um, you might have to experiment it and just see, what you prefer. I think all of those methods like work totally fine, honestly. So I think either way, it's like completely doable. Debbie, good morning. Uh, yeah, I just didn't know what it would look like. I think it looks very similar. So it's kind of I do think it's probably more rounded at the top right here. It still looks good. Again, flowers are not perfectly symmetrical. If you go pluck a flower, it looks different on the petals, so it's probably not a thing. Okay, so I'm down to my last single crochet here. I'm going to go into the space here and slip stitch, and now I'm going to start working up the next arm. Okay, so once again, working in the back loop, I'm going to single crochet, half double into the next, half double into the next. I'm trying to keep this from moving around, guys. I know it kind of makes it hard on the screen when it's twisting around. I'm trying really hard to keep it still. It's hard. Okay, then double crochet, back down to a half double crochet, single crochet. I'm going to chain two, slip stitch around the top of the corner, back down to a single crochet, half double, double, two half doubles. Again, you can rearrange these stitches however you like it and however it looks good to you. It really doesn't have to be an exact science. Single crochet. Now I'm going to go into the next space here, slip stitch. Now we're ready to start the next petal. Okay, so there you can see our little petals forming. We're up to 4 of them now. We need a total of 8. Thank you guys all so much for the gifts this morning. Let me reset this gift goal. I swear I put these in here and then in a blink they're all taken care of. It's pretty amazing. Ooh, cherries. Let's see if we could do some cherries. Hopefully everybody can see a cherry. Let me know if this gift goal works. Sometimes they put things on my page that then people can't see and they can't gift. But let's try. Okay, so now I'm going to start on the next petal. Again, single crochet, half double, half double again. Did I see that Maggie was here earlier? Maggie, are you here? I'm sorry, I didn't get to give you a little shout out love this morning. I also saw Karen is here this morning. Friends, if you are looking for knot slayers or hook minders, you guys know I use a lot of hook minders on my projects. Karen is the one that you can get those from. And as a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, I should put on here, because I didn't before, what hook I was using. I'm using an I9 this morning. So if you guys need these little hook minders, I put mine with just a little charm. I don't sell mine, I just make them for myself. But if you are looking for things like this, Miss Karen is a great person to follow. TSH Designs by Karen. There is Miss Maggie. Good morning, Maggie. Hope all is well over there in your world. Friends, if you are not following Miss Maggie, she is fabulous. Debbie, thank you so much for the subscription. You've automatically been entered into the subscriber celebration for the month of, what are we in? July. July. Oh, the cherry worked. Nice, nice. I see that worked. So, anyhow, friends, I just put this on my projects. That way, when I come back to this in 2 months and I can't remember what I was doing, it will tell me that I was using a size I9 hook. Anyhow, Miss Maggie is there in the hot seat, y'all. She is a fabulous TikToker, one of my friends here. If you are interested in a great crocheter, and she also knits, definitely give Maggie there a follow. Slip stitch into the next, and single crochet, half double, gold done. Y'all, what is happening this morning? What is happening this morning? I do use my I9 hook all the time, Jennifer. It's because I use a lot of 4-weight yarn. I'm cheap. I use the cheap yarn. All right, let's try to do some tiny dinies. Sarah asked, do you go back to your own videos to remember what you did? I do. I do. That's why I come on the live and make these, guys, because I don't take notes. I'm an audio learner and I'm a very visual person. And I never write anything down. I know some of y'all are just like, what? I never take a single note. It's very, very rare that I take a note. I just have it all in my brain. Ooh, this one looks the best. So it just is like kind of an experiment, where do you get the clear round thingy that you keep your hook minders? This is on my link tree, Paloma. These little, this one doesn't, I don't have a lid. It's somewhere, but I get these little stackable containers off of Amazon and they're on my link tree. And I put my little charms in there. So they're all sorted by size. You can see here in the top, I've just got my, little stitch markers and I have those accessible so I can grab them. Leah, this is for Leah, my little stitch markers. And then you can just unscrew. So if I need a size G, I can grab that. Oh, we were cleaning the bathroom the other day when my mom was here, and Mama Wheeler found these. I got these down in Rocky Point, these little earrings that I never wear. And my mom pulled them out. They have like abalone in them. They're actually 925 silver. But my mom said, you don't wear these. You should make these into hook minders. And I'm like, you're right. Give me those. So I'm going to take the little hook earring things off. I've had them for years when we went down to Rocky Point. So I'll make some hook minders out of those. But these little stacking containers are great. So they're all just sorted by size. So like H and so on. That's a lot of stitch marker for somebody who never uses them. I do use them though. I do. Look, I have one right here on my little project. I do use them a lot, y'all. I know you find that hard to believe, but I really do. I really do use them. 34,000 taps, y'all. Thank you so much for liking the live this morning. Okay, so I finished the last stitch here, single crochet. Now I'm going to go into the space here and slip stitch. And we're going to work up the arm of the next petal. So first stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet, half double, half double. Somebody needs to write this down for me because I need to remember this. Double. This is what works perfect. Half double, single crochet. I almost yarned over there. Single, slip stitch, chain two, into the next stitch here as we crest the mountain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double. Has anybody heard from Anvil? I need to DM her. It's been a few days since I've heard from her. I need to check in on her and see what I'm doing or see how she's doing. Double, half double, and I think I saw Debbie is here this morning. Friends, our friend Debbie could use some caring thoughts and prayers. Y'all, she's got some family medical stuff happening, so keep her all in your thoughts and prayers as you guys are going through your week with her family. There is our little petal. I like that one the best. I like that the best. So, I did a single, I did a yeah, single, half double, double, half double, single, slip stitch, chain 2, single, half double, double, half double, single, and then slip stitch to the next. There's Miss Debbie there. Debbie, sending you hugs this morning, girl. Hang in there. Hang in there. Her brother is in the hospital, guys. So anyhow, she needs lots of kind and caring, loving thoughts her way if you can. Um, just he's probably going to have surgery, and anyhow, just the family's really going through it right now. And I, like I said, I need to reach out to Anvil. I know her dad is uh, not in the greatest shape right now, so I need to message her and see how she's doing too. Okay, double, half double, single. Y'all, I think I got it. I think this is good. Of course, I'm down to the end of the flower where it counts, right? It's all right though. Nobody's going to be the wiser. Nobody's going to be inspecting these petals this close to be like, oh, she missed a stitch there. Okay, chain 2 at the top and single, or excuse me, slip stitch, single, half double, double, half double. What did I do? Single. I think I did 2 half doubles there. Well, this one's going to have not 2 half doubles. We'll do a slip stitch. It's fine. Okay. Into the space here. I'm rebelling it up this morning, friends. I'm rebelling it up. Slip stitch to the next. Okay, last petal here. Here we go. Single, half double, half double again, double, half double, single, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, single, half double, double, half double, half double again, and single. Whew, we made it. Okay, slip stitch to the very beginning. Okay, so here are all of our petals made. They will kind of curl up on you a little bit, just flatten them back out. What I was saying is I think I should make a petal like this and make it a sunflower as an applique for a hat. Like my little bucket hat, put a really cute sunflower right on the very front. I think that would be awesome. Okay, So now we're not done. You could be done here and just use this as a flower applique, right? But what I did is I actually turned this into a square. Okay. So let's look at the back. Elke, nice to have you here. I never heard if I'm supposed to be pronouncing it LK or L. I think it's is it LK? I don't know. I'm really trying. Kayla said, I wrote it down because I want to make a sunflower. Yes, a sunflower. I'm definitely going to be doing it. Kayla, you can rewatch how I did the center over on YouTube. My handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. We're live on both platforms this morning. Vicky says, I've also made this as a gift bag ornament. Ooh, that would be cute. It would also be cute just for ornaments on a tree, right? Okay, so what we have to do is we have to turn this from the flower into this square. Okay. Now, the flower was very complicated, guys. So the back is going to be very, very easy. We're going to do granny stitch. Okay. And as you know, a square has four sides, and we made 8 petals. Okay. So what I did is I made a chain structure around the back of the flower that I then attached my double crochets into those spaces. And when I did this, I made the chain so that it opened up for the corners in between the petals because I wanted this green up here to show as like a little leaf there, if you will. You have to use your imagination a little bit, but that is what we did. Okay. So when I make this chain structure, we're going to work from the back. Now, take your time, weave in your tails, guys. I'm not going to do that this morning. We're going to keep it moving here. But don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Okay, so as we're crocheting the chain structure, what we're going to do is I'm going to secure it right in here where these stitches are. And then I'm going to chain two. And then I'm going to hop over to the next back of the petal and secure it there and chain two and hop over. And we're going to make this little chain structure. So first thing I have to do, I have to get myself over here to the first spot. So right where those little stitches are, I just slid underneath them and I'm going to pull that through and slip stitch. Okay. Again, I'm working on the back of the square and these petals will get a little kind of flighty. Just hold them down. Chain two. Now here is our next petal right here. You can see right here, there's kind of like some bars to secure this to. So once again, I'm going to hop over here to the back of this petal. Now I don't want to go through the front, but you could. It's not going to make that big of difference. Slide under those 2 loops and we're going to slip stitch. Chain two, hop over to the next petal. Again, there's those little bars. Slide underneath those. And you want this to be very tight, okay? It's important, slip stitch, that your little chains that you're making are not too big and open because you want them to sit flat to the back of your flower. This is very, very important. So if you find that as you start making your granny stitches, they're like too floppy and loose from the front of your square, that means your chains are too big. Okay. So here we go. We're going to move around here. 1, 2 chains. Here is our next petal. Slide under those loops. Slip stitch. Chain 2. Here's our next petal. Slide right underneath. Sometimes I have to use my thumbnail here to get these to slide on. It's a tight working condition. Chain 2. Move to the next petal. Again, slide underneath those 2 stitches. Slip stitch. Chain 2. Slide underneath. Here's our slip stitch once again. Chain 2. And here is our last petal. Let's try to grab this yarn here that's floating out there. Okay, slip stitch. Now we need to chain 2. This is our first chain that we made. We've got to secure it right here. So we need to chain 2 and secure this to that first chain space. Okay, so maybe I should weave in these tails. They're kind of in the way, but let's just pull these. I'm going to pull these through for right now just to get them out of our way. We'll pull them back. We'll pull them back out the other side. I want to clear this up so you guys can see. Okay, so this is the back of our square, and you can see we've made these little loops. As we look at the back, we're going to have one chain space where we put 2 groups of 3 double crochets. So we're going to do, this is the corner. We're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Then we're going to have one chain space that has 3. Then we're going to be back to a corner where we have 2 groups again. Okay, so the way that I do this, I know y'all were making fun of my stitch markers earlier, but get your stitch markers out. The very first one that we're going to do right here in this chain that we made is going to be a corner. So I'm going to designate that with a stitch marker. Here is our next chain. I'm going to skip that one. That will be the side of the square. Into the next one over here, we need another corner. Skip the next, into the next, yet again, another corner. Skip one, into the next, put your stitch marker. That is going to be another corner there. And if you mathed everything correct, you should have one empty one right here. So as we're crocheting this along, you're going to have your 4 stitch markers that will help pinpoint where your corners need to be. There's Miss Rachel. How are you, Rachel? Hope you're having a great day. Miss Rachel's here in the hot seat, y'all. If you want to follow Miss Rachel, she does fabulous crochet as well. Fun amigurumis if you're looking to get into that. One of my friends here. Now, here's the thing, guys. This happens to me a lot. I crocheted this from the back of my square. And inevitably, what happens is in my mind, I start just crocheting my double crochets. And what you actually have to do is flip your work around, okay? And that way we can work from the front, okay? So I have to kind of give myself a little space here. Let's pop in another slip stitch here just to try to get myself more in the middle of my square of my chain here. Okay, so in this chain space right here, this chain tells me it's the corner. So put your petals to the front, just fold them down. And into this space, we've got our little stitch marker. We can pop that out. We know it's going to be a corner. So now we're going to start our granny stitch here. Let's just start with a chain of 3 because that's easier. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, scoot your stitches over, and then 3 double crochets. Okay, so we're going to turn this flower into a square shape. So there's our corner of our granny square. We're going to move to the next chain space here. You can see there's no stitch marker in there. That tells me it's the side of the square. So we need 3 double crochets into this space. Again, just put your petals forward. Now here we are to another stitch marker. We're going to pop that out. Once again, the stitch marker tells me, aha, this is a corner. So we need 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Okay, so here we go. This is what our side is looking like. Corner, there's our 3 on the side. Here's another corner. Now we're ready to start the next side of the square. So here's our chain space. Once again, we need 3 double crochets. Now here we are back to a corner. We're going to do 3 double crochets. And because it's a corner, we're going to chain 2. There's our chain 2. And right back down into this same space, we need 3 double crochets. Mo is snoring over there. Can you guys hear him? Okay, so there is the side of our square again. We've made 2. Again, put our petal forward into the next space. This is the side. We need 3 double crochets. Here we are. Voila, just like that, back to a corner. So in the corner again, 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 50,000! You guys did it. 50,000 likes, y'all. Thank you so much, everybody, for tapping your screens. Woohoo! Okay, so there's our corner. Back to one side here, our last side. We need 3 double crochets. Join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch, your chain here. I'm going to slip stitch over the corner so I can hide my tail. And we are done with the red. I'm going to go ahead and snip off. Again, friends, if you're just joining on, this color I'm using right now, the red is, I love this yarn. It is Cranberry. But this is what our square is looking like so far. Let me pull these tails back through. This is what the back looks like. Okay, so we're turning this into a square. You can see this square sits very flat to the back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to add the forest color. So these are the colors again. I love this yarn. This is Cranberry. Where is it at? Cranberry. And this one that I'm going to be switching to is called Forest. Isn't that pretty? I love these colors together. They just feel like Christmas to me. They really do feel like Christmas. So grab yourself a screenshot if you want these. I get these from Hobby Lobby, but honestly, guys, any red or green will totally work for these squares. And I'll tell you what, in the next couple days, I'm going to be making a sunflower because I feel like I need a sunflower in my life. Okay, so if we look back to our square here, one of the things you'll notice, see how these petals are curling? What we have to do on this next round with the green is we're actually going to tack these petals into our work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull some of the green through the back of these petals, and that will help the petal to flatten out. And you'll see how we do that in just a moment. So let's get the forest color on our hook here. I'm going to start with a slip knot. And I'm going to choose any corner. It does not matter. Pick a corner. And all we're doing, guys, is the granny stitch. You guys have done, probably all of you have done a granny square. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. You could also start with a chain of 3 here or a stacked single. Either way would work totally fine. And all we're going to do is the granny stitch. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. In the corner, I chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Okay, now before I move to the next space right here, I'm not going to do any chain or anything, but what I want to do is I want to pull this petal upright and tack it into my work. So what I do is I look at the back of the petal and I just find a couple of these stitches that are hanging down here in the back, and I slide my hook underneath those stitches and I do a slip stitch. So what that does, you don't see any green from the front, but you can see it secures that petal and is going to help hold it upright. Okay, now I'm going to go into the space. So just kind of pull this petal to the side. And now we're going to resume. No chains or anything here, guys. Just immediately into our 3 double crochets of our granny stitch. Okay, now I'm going to move to the next space here. Once again, 3 double crochets. Now I'm headed to the corner. And as you can see here, I have another petal to pull up. So once again, after I finish the 3, I look to the back of my petal here. Just find a spot here up towards the top where you can see some of the yarn loops on the back, and slide your hook underneath and pull all the way through and slip stitch. So you can see again, that has pulled that up. I don't have any green on the front, but we have secured it within the green to hold that in position. Now, once again, here we are to the corner, no chaining or anything. We're just going to start our corner stitch, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So after you finish the corner, we're going to have another petal to incorporate and pull up right here. So here's our next petal. Look for the back up here towards the top. I'm going to slide under these loops. You kind of have to wiggle your hook in here. I'm trying not to go through the front, okay? Once again, slip stitch, pull that petal upright, kind of pull it to the side, look for your next grouping. Here was our 3 double crochets. Here's my space. Right into the space, we need our 3 double crochets. Make sure that slip stitch is very tight also, guys, when you do that petal. Okay, so you don't want a big like gaping hole there. Again, move to the next space, 3 double crochets. And here we are right before the corner. Right before we get to the corner, again, we have to pull up another petal and slide your hook underneath that little vein of yarn there that's on the back, slip stitch, and now we're going to work into the corner with our granny stitches. Have a good day, Rita. Thanks for being here. Yeah, this is a great way to make your flowers not floppy. Um, I want them to have, I want the petals to look like they are dimensional. But I don't want them all curled up like this. Can you see how they're all like curled up? So once you add these stitches, can you see how these are flat now? And these are all curly? We don't want them curly like that. Let's tighten them up. And this is a great trick of how to do that. So once again, we've finished our corner here. And as soon as you finish your corner, find that next petal. Again, slide here under the top, underneath those loops, and slip stitch. Pull the petal to the side, find your space, and now you're going to do your 3 double crochets. You could make any flower like this. Wouldn't this be pretty as sunflowers, a sunflower granny square like this? Move to the next space, 3 double crochets. If somebody makes a sunflower, you got to be sure and tag me in it or put it on the Discord or something because I'm dying to see it as a sunflower. Okay, before we get to the corner again, we've got to pull this next petal up. I might not be able to stand it. I might have to do it in the next couple days, but I've got so many other works in progress. I don't know that I'm going to get to it right away. Slip stitch. Again, try to make it so that your green or whatever colors you're using does not show through with your petal. Okay, try to hide that back there. Um, Now into the corner, we need our 3 double crochets. Chain 2. Honeybee, this is a poinsettia square that I'm making. It's just something that I came up with. If you missed the beginning, I don't know what time it is. Uh, Mods, what anybody know what time it is? I don't know if I have time to start another one. I might though, depending on what time it is. And yes, you can rewatch on my YouTube. My handle on YouTube is Wheeler 8 Acres. We are live this morning on both platforms, and this will be saved out in my YouTube so that you can rewatch it. So be sure. And 8:52. I don't know if we have enough time to start another one, but I can try. Okay, so here we are. We finished our corner. Remember, in the corner, you have to Whoa, Red Lady, thank you so much. Doesn't that guy is like the Ted Bear, right? I love my husband every now and then will watch the Ted movie. He's so cute. Okay, slip stitch, put your petal to the side. Again, 3 double crochets into that space. I didn't do any chains or anything, guys. I just am doing that slip stitch to secure those petals. Very last one here, 3 excuse me, losing my voice. 3 double crochets. Um Friends, I'm sorry if I've probably missed a grip of comments today. On days that we do a lot of stitch talk, the mods do their very best to help answer the questions, and we have fabulous moderators. How about a round of applause for our moderators? Leah, Pam, Gen X, and Anvil. I could not do this without them, I'll tell you. They really help to answer the questions, especially because I do so much stitch talk, guys, and I do have to like look at my work as I'm working on it. So it means that I miss a lot of the comments. But best mods, I'll tell you, slip stitch, and now we are ready to join to the corner with our green. We are done with the green. So I'm going to slip stitch here to the corner, just so that I can weave in that tail later. And now I'm going to snip off our green. We are done. Let me put away these stitch markers. I've got them all over my lap and try to get myself a little more organized here. Okay, so JT, good morning. How are you, friend? You guys, here is what our poinsettia is looking like so far. So you can see a little green peeking out. Some of this green here was going to get covered when we do a round of white. But what do y'all think? Are you digging it? So I just used Red Heart white because that's what I had next to me. But you could definitely use I Love This yarn if you want to stick all with the same brand. Whatever you feel the need to do is totally fine. Let me take some of my white off my, I guess I could leave it on the spinny thing here. Well, let's try to use this small ball up. I always got lots of white hanging out here, guys. This is Red Heart white. As you know, I've always got this by my chair. So let's just put the finishing row on this. I will try to start another one of the poinsettia square. So that way, if anybody missed the beginning, you can go back and obviously you can rewatch this on YouTube, guys. In the corner, I'm going to start with a standing double. You could also do a chain of 3 here or a stacked single, however you prefer to do that. All we're doing is the granny stitch. So I do 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Then I am going to go into this space right here, no chain or anything, and we need 3 double crochets. This is going to help kind of cover up and conceal some of that green yarn. Skip to the next space here. But if a little bit pokes out, it's no big deal. It'll just look like greenery behind the flower. It can't be perfect, you know. Into the next space, again, 3 double crochets. This is just kind of finishing touch and to make this square a little bigger. Now here we are over to the corner. We need 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Okay, and moving to the next space here, resume our 3 double crochets. Next space, 3 double crochets. Again, I don't chain in between my granny squares. Some people are in the habit of doing a chain. If that's what you like to do, it's totally fine. Now, one thing, guys, as you're doing these squares, I messed this one up. I like to see how the white is to the right of where I joined that? I like for the white to actually sit to the left. I'm going to frog this. I don't like this. So instead of when we tacked down, I'm frogging again. I've frogged a lot today, y'all. When we tacked down our petal here, it kind of left a hole here, but you can also access the hole over here. I like to access it on this side. That way it stays uniform with what we did on this side. So this one I put the stitches to the right of where I joined, and this one I put it to the left. So they're kind of opposites. I know it's just a little thing. I am a little OCD when it comes to stuff like that. But either way will work. I just like it to look as pretty as possible. So once again, I'm going to go to the right of this petal as I come out of the corner with my 3 doubles and into the middle, 3 doubles. Now, as I head to the corner, instead of doing the 3 doubles on the right, I'm going to do them on the left over here. So again, either way is totally fine, but that's what I like to do. And those petals do kind of reach up into the white, and that's what helps to kind of conceal that green back there. Now, here we are back to the corner. Lori, have a great day. Rally said, this is a lovely pattern. Thank you so much. We're going to get ready to start another one. I will not have enough time to finish another full square before I have to go to work, guys. But if you are not following me over on YouTube, be sure and do that. There is a link on the link tree. Every time we come live on TikTok, I am also live over on YouTube, and there's people watching me on YouTube this morning as well. So you can go back, you can rewatch the videos. If you see something and you want to come back and make it later, you can watch that video on my YouTube. My handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. For tomorrow, for those that did not hear, tomorrow is our subscriber celebration for the month of July. So I will work on updating the little wheel thingamabob. Well, almost every time. Yes, Jen, thank you. Almost every time I'm live on TikTok. Sometimes I do some pop-up TikToks that I don't go on YouTube. I get a little wild. Little Wild Wheeler pops up. Um, so anyhow, you can rewatch that. No, I do not have a written pattern. I'm just a hobby crocheter, guys. I come on just because I love to crochet and kind of share what I'm making. But you can go back and rewatch this on my YouTube. That is about the best that I can offer. I'm sure somebody will see the video and make a pattern and do all the things, which is totally fine. Because I work full time, I don't have time to do that. This would be a great pattern to write out and like have on Ravelry and stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. I do make diagrams, Hillary. I have taught myself how to make diagrams, but there again, it just takes a lot of time, and I'd rather be crocheting. If I'm completely honest, guys, I would rather crochet than make diagrams and write patterns. I just love to crochet. It's my hobby. I don't want it to be like a job, A lot of people do it for a job. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. All right, so there is our square. What do you think? Is it beginning to feel a lot like Christmas? Jules said she made notes. If anybody wants them, DM to Jules. Um, Wheelers Wheelies. Yes, JT. I just made this up. I did watch a video on YouTube, and I can't remember what that gal's name is. It's a 2-part video of how she made her poinsettia square. And I did learn some things from watching that video, but I did not make her square exactly the same because um, she just didn't get to the point. It was very hard to watch, to be honest. So I just kind of put my own Wheeler spin on it, and that's what I did. But for those that are just joining, let me recap how we made this square and got this party started, okay? And I don't have to be at work until 10, so I can go until let's say we'll go today. We're going to go till 9:45. I don't know how many more minutes that is, but I will see if I can make another one of at least the flower so that you guys can see this. So to begin with, I started in the center and I used a 2-ply baby yarn that I had in my stash. Okay. Very thin yarn because I wanted this center to be very small. So whatever yarn you have on hand, this is an acrylic yarn. I just happen to have it. If you had some Hobie yarn, that would probably work. A lot of those are thinner. If you have a 4-ply, I don't know if it would work a 4-weight for the center. You'd have to experiment. The center might be too big. But you could start with either a magic ring or a chain of 3 or 4 for your center, and I put 8 puff stitches into this center, okay? That's what I did first. The red that I'm using is, I love this yarn by Hobby Lobby, and it is the colorway Cranberry. The green that I used is called Forest, also from Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. These two are beautiful Christmas colors together. Okay? Beautiful, beautiful colors. However, with that being said, use whatever green you have on in your stash. If you've got sparkly, whatever you've got, it's not a thing. Okay, so you don't have to use these colors, but you certainly could. I'm going to give myself kind of a long tail here to begin with, and I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to go into the back loop of the very first stitch, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch. I am using a size I9 hook this morning, and I did not change it for this very fine yarn because I am wanting this to be kind of flowy a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to work into this very center here, and I'm going to place 8 puff stitches. I'm going to draw my first loop up kind of tall, and into that center, we're going to start our puff stitch, and I'm going to do a total of 3 yarn over puff stitches. Make sure you pull this stitch up nice and tall. Lefty, good morning. Pull up another loop. So we have our starting loop, 2, 4, we need one more, yarn over, right back down into that space. Now we have a total of 7 loops, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 1 to lock it in, and move to the next stitch, again repeating our puff stitch. Yarn over, pull up nice and tall, holding, do not finish. Right back down in, pull up another loop, right back down in, pull up another loop. When we have a total of 7, this is our starting loop. We have 2, 4, 6. Yarn over, pull through all, squish these together, chain 1 to lock it in. Another puff stitch. We need a total of 8 of these for this center. And yeah, I sometimes I do a magic ring. You guys see me do that. You just need to make sure you weave in your tail really good. For this, I am going to work over this tail as I go along, and also weave in that tail as well. I probably go overboard on weaving in the tails, but I just don't want my work to come apart. So I definitely am diligent about that. Hillary says, makes me nervous. How will I know if I weave them in good enough? That is exactly the question. Rita is back. Welcome in, Rita. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7. Yarn over, pull through all. Chain 1. Where am I at here, folks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. Just keep squishing these together. 2 more puff stitches into our center here. Okay, chain 1 to lock it in, and then we're going to do our last puff stitch here. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 1, and now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the very beginning here, and I'm going to snip off the yellow. We are done with our yellow. Now I'm going to go ahead and weave in my tail here. That way we can tighten up the very center of this square. And friends, don't forget you can also rewatch this over on YouTube. You can fast forward and rewind it, as you want to. My handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. I'll probably do this square again at some point, probably as a sunflower and like a sunflower applique, and we can have that over on YouTube as well to rewatch. And I'll be honest, I will probably make a TikTok tutorial of how to do this square because I do think it is a very pretty square. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be popular to make? I think a lot of people are going to be asking me how to make this, and I think if I don't have a tutorial, uh, people are probably going to be like, Why don't you have a tutorial? But it might take me a while to get a tutorial made, honestly. They take a lot of time. But like an official tutorial. Okay, so here is the very center of our square. Okay, so here's our little very middle part. You can see I squished it up by weaving in the tail. Anne said, "Yes, I'm making it today." All right. Well, I definitely need to make a tutorial of this. I'll definitely do a TikTok tutorial. So now we're going to fire up our red yarn. Again, this is I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby. It is the colorway Cranberry. I will tell you, Estella, thank you so much for the heart hands. Appreciate that. Um, I get asked about this color of yarn frequently because it is really, really pretty. And when you look at the Hobby Lobby website, it does not show the true colors, guys. It shows really, really dark on their site. And what you are seeing on this live, how it like literally like fires up, that is what this yarn actually looks like. So if you go by the picture on the site, it is wow. First gift, Teresa. Thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate that. It really is a beautiful yarn. So, without further ado, let's stop yapping and get to crocheting here. We're going to start with a slip knot on my hook. Now, I'm going to be working into the spaces that we made in between these puff stitches. And I'm going to start with a slip stitch into the very first space. Okay. So into the space between the puffs, slip stitch. And what we're going to be doing, if you look on these petals, do you see how there's this line of texture right here? That is what we're going to be creating right now. So the way that I do this is I chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the back bump of these stitches that I just made. So when you look at your chain, one side has these little sideways V's. The other side of your chain has what we call the back bump, the back loop. The same thing. I'm going to be working into those back loops. And we're going to do a slip stitch. So I put my hook underneath the bump, pull the yarn through, and pull it straight through again. Move to the next bump, pull it through, and slip stitch. Slide under the next bump, pull my yarn through, slip stitch. We want this to be very flat. We're going to make these little foundation arms that we're going to come back and attach these petals to, or work into, I should say, not attach them. Okay, so when I get to the second to last one here, this is the first one right here. I'm not going to work in that bump. I'm actually going to slip stitch right back into that corner space. I did it again where I did it on the wrong side. Make sure when you do this, this will twist around on you. Make sure you're slip stitching to the front of your flower. It is happening to me every time that I end up on the back, okay? Slip stitch. Now I'm going to move to the next little puff area in between and slip stitch, okay? So you can see we've created this little arm here, and this right here will be the very center spine of our petal that we're going to make. So I'm into the next space here. I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I'm going to resume with my slip stitches, working my way back down that chain that we just made. So what this does when we do this is you can see it is putting 2 loops on this side and 2 loops on this side. That way, when we come back, we're going to work part of the petal up and part of the petal back down. That is the purpose of doing this. Uh, Friends, as I'm working these slip stitches, it is really hard for me to read the comments and work these stitches um, because I have to look at them. So I apologize if I am missing your comment this morning. We're doing a lot of stitch talk today. Again, when we get to the last one here, I'm going to go right back down into this space and join with a slip stitch. Move to the next, slip stitch. The mods will help to answer the questions as best they can and pin the comments for me. So thank you for your patience as I'm talking through these stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Again, working into the back loop, we're going to do a slip stitch all the way down. It's hard when I have to look at these little stitches. You have to envision in your mind, when you like do a starting chain for a blanket and then you have to work the first stitch and it requires all of your concentration and focus to get in these little back bumps. That is what this round is all about working into these little back bumps. It is challenging. Okay, so when I get to the very last one, I'm not going to do into that one. I'm just going to work a slip stitch back into the same space. Move to the next space, slip stitch, chain 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now once again, working into these back bumps. Just doing a little slip stitch action on these. I know when you first go to do this, you're going to be annoyed with it. I promise. You will be annoyed. But it is all worth it in the end. It really is worth it to have the patience to do this. So here we are to the second to last one. This is the last one. Instead of working into the last, I'm just going to go right into that space and slip stitch. Into the next here, slip stitch, chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this very first one is a little hard to get into, but it's important that you get him. So just try very hard. I use my fingernails all the time to try to get these stitches to slide on my hook. My left hand is my helper hand as I'm trying to get these to slide on. I'm actually pushing my hook here against my thumbnail a lot through the yarn to try to get these stitches to slide on. Okay, so here we are. I've turned this around. Hang on. Here we are. To the very last one, slip stitch right back into the space where we came out of. Move to the next, slip stitch, chain 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hannah is here. Good morning, Hannah. How are you, friend? We had quite the subscriber celebration happening earlier this morning. Miss Hannah was Hannah Yarn Ball, Hannah France was giving out subscriptions, and Nikki gave out, I think Nikki gave out like 10 subscriptions this morning. But if you are a subscriber here on TikTok, we are doing our celebration event tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central. We'll put all the names on the thing and whirl it around. And so, anyhow, there's still time if you want to become a subscriber. You do not have to be present. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for the month of July, we are doing 4 of the cinnamon squirrel cakes, as I like to call them. I have another good one set up for August too. I've been working a lot with I love this yarn, so there's a little insight into what is going to be happening for the month of August with our little celebration. Okay, second to last stitch here. Once you get to the last one, don't work in the last, go right back down into that space. It's okay too, guys, if your little spines are curling. It's totally fine. This reminds me when we used to go to the beach and get starfish. They're so cute. Into the next, we're on our last one here. You should have a total of 8 of these arms once you're done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to slip stitch into the very first, slip stitch our way all the way back down this little spine that we're making. And once we get to our second to last one, we're going to secure that, and then we're going to be ready for phase 2 of the petals. I'm always excited to be done with this part where we're slip stitching. So once again, slip stitch right into that same space. And now what I need to do is slip stitch into our next petal here and kind of get that set up and ready to go. So slip stitch over here. Let's do a count and make sure I have 8 of these little octopus arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfection. Okay, I know Sparky doesn't look like a starfish. Mama Wheeler has to make this. She made an ocean blanket, but the arms, how they curl like this, even if you did them a little bit longer, I did 8 chains, but like if you did 10, I think it would be just really, really cool. Okay, so let's look at our example here, folks. So these little spines that I made, this little guy here, as you can see, this little line of texture is what this is in the very center of this petal. So what we are doing is we are working from small and getting bigger and then going back to small. And then we're going to do some chains at the very tippy top here to go up and over the corner. And then we're going to work from small back to bigger and back to small. We're going to work that around each of the little petals that we're making. Okay, now as we look at our spines that we made, each side has 2 loops, okay? You can see here it's like a sideways V. We're not going to go in the one that's on the top of the spine. We're going to leave that behind as our row of texture. We're only going to work into this back loop all the way up to the tippy top. Same thing on the other side. When we come back down, you can see how there's 2 loops right here. Here's our little V. We're only going to be working in this one that's on the outside. Leave behind this line of texture. So into the first stitch here, I'm going to do a single crochet. Into the next, I'm going to do a half double. Into the next, a half double. Now we're at the very biggest part. We're going to do a double. Now we're going to start getting back smaller as we head towards the tippy top. We're going to do a half double. Next, we're going to do a single. Now I'm going to do a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 2. The chain 2 is what helps us go up and over this mountaintop. And now we're going to head back down the other side and we're going to do it in reverse. So we're going to slip stitch into the first, single crochet, half double. Now we're getting even larger, double crochet. That's our largest point. Now we need to head back down and getting smaller, half double, another half double. And at the very bottom, we're going to do our single crochet in the last stitch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over all of this and I'm going to go in the space right here and I'm going to do a slip stitch to get myself ready to set up for the next little point of our, or the next little petal. Okay, so there is the petal we just finished. Now I'm going to start working up the next spine. So into the first stitch, single, getting bigger, half double, bigger again, half double, and then the biggest for our project, the tallest, I should say, is a double. Now we're going to start getting back smaller as we head out to the point, half double. Amy, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out this morning. Dee is here. Good morning. Now we're going to do a single. I think I said goo. I meant do. Slip stitch into the very last. Chain 2. Now we're ready to start down the other side. Very first stitch here, we need a slip stitch, single crochet, half double, double, getting back smaller, half double, second half double, and single crochet into the last. Now we're going to skip all the way over all this into the space that we created of the last one, slip stitch, and get ourselves ready to start our next petal. Now we have two. Just like magic, isn't it? Victoria, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by this morning. Y'all, thank you so much for all of the screen taps. We're at 78,000 this morning. Thank you guys so much for everybody tapping your screens. I really appreciate that. We have had a lot of people stop by today. Nikki, thank you so much for your generosity on the live this morning. Have a fabulous day. You are incredible. I know all of our friends that receive subscriptions from you are very, very appreciative. So thank you so much for being such an amazing part of this community. I really, really appreciate it. Estella, thank you so much for the rose this morning. Okay, I just did the double. Now we're back to half double, going to a single, and finally on this side, slip stitch, chain two, and slip stitch into the first, headed back down the other side, single crochet. Dee said, I've started crocheting, so this may be advanced, but gosh, it's pretty. Dee, you know what? I'm going to make this is going to be on my YouTube. So you could add it to your favorites over there when you get a little more practice and experience under your belt. You could definitely come back and do that. DE, thank you so much for the TikTok balloons. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. You could definitely come back to it. And I'm definitely going to make a TikTok tutorial of this square. I think it's going to be one of the more popular items that I have made now. It might take me a little time, guys, to get that tutorial made. So definitely be patient with me. As you all know, I have got a ton of works in progress happening. So it might take me a little bit, but I do think this would be fun for Christmas. It might be fun for like an ornament to hang on the tree. If you're making a little present, maybe you want to make attach it to like a gift box that you made. Might be kind of cool. I really appreciate it, Dee. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody just hanging out this morning and having fun with us. I, as you know, love to crochet, and this has been a great week. I really missed out a lot last week when Diesel had his surgery, but he is doing great. He's outside right now. He's got his antler and his peanut butter treat ball, and it's been a much more mellow morning. So we're getting back to normal over here. Paloma said, how would I go about making this square smaller? Use a smaller hook or yarn? Yeah, Paloma, that's exactly what I would do. If it was me and I wanted to make this smaller, I would get a Hobie Friends cotton that I have in my stash, which is a very thin yarn. Usually I use like a size 4 or a like a D or an E hook, very small hook, like even a 3.5, probably for that, and use that to make a square. That would definitely be how to make it smaller. My YouTube channel name, thank you for asking, is Wheeler 8 Acres. Friends, I'm a hobby crocheter. So on my YouTube, what I did is I created my YouTube so that if you had to hop off the TikTok live, you could go back and rewatch the videos after they had aired and be able to watch that. So when you're looking at my page, you'll see a category that says videos. There's another one that says shorts, and then there's one that says live. Anytime I'm on TikTok, I'm also live on YouTube. So, like this morning, there are people that are probably watching me on their TVs, nice big horizontal picture. And you can go back and rewatch these. The thing is, with working full time, I do not have enough hours in the day to make a ton of content. I really do the very best that I can. But like writing tutorials and stuff takes an exorbitant amount of time. And folks that do it full time, my hat's off to them because it is really, really time consuming. And I just do not have the hours to do that. And so what the compromise is, you can go over on my YouTube and you can rewatch the stuff and fast forward it. Now, bear in mind, it's not like a clinical tutorial. You've got me rambling and talking to people and all of that stuff. Grandkids, that is awesome. I'm glad that you love to crochet as well. All of us do here that are hanging out this morning are pretty much big time crocheters, or maybe just getting started. Sparky, yes, this really is a second job for me. I do spend a lot of hours with you guys and making as much as I can, but it is all consuming, and I have to have balance in my life as well. So that's kind of the compromise. Now, at some point, will I retire and crochet full time? Yeah, probably, but I'm 50. We're not there yet. We are not there yet. So in the interim, that is how you can rewatch my stuff. And like I said, the more popular things, I do try to go back and make a tutorial. I try to extract clips from the live as I've been showing the stitches and republish those too as a point of reference. So I appreciate everybody's support, though. You all are amazing. I can't say enough great things. Yes, for me, crochet is a stress reliever too, and I do love crocheting as well. I joke around and I say that um, crochet is my cheaper than getting a therapist. But y'all have seen my yarn room, and I will tell you, my yarn. I think I just messed that up. Hang on, I got to rewind here. I'm talking. I think my yarn habit is probably more expensive than just going and getting a therapist. Very time consuming and heavy on the eyes. It most certainly is. But you do what you love, right? You absolutely do what you love. So, anyhow, thank you everybody for hanging out with me this morning as we've been working on this little granny square. Hopefully, I'll have a tutorial in the next week or so, and you guys will be able to go back and rewatch that. But I hope today this has gotten you maybe inspired to try something new. I definitely want to try this as a sunflower. I think it would be really, really pretty. And so I'm sure maybe we'll do that on a live. Maybe we'll do that on a live next week. Would you guys like to see me do it as a sunflower? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Grandkids, I don't know why, but your messages are coming through like in triplicate, and we're seeing them. We see them the first time. So I'm not sure why that's doing that. I don't know if that's a glitch or if you're typing the same comment over and over again, but we got you. We got you, sister. We see you there. Yes, sunflower, y'all think of sunflower? That could be arranged. I think that would be kind of cool. Sabrina said, "I'm all in. I would love to see the sunflower." Hannah said, "I will always say that I will watch anything you crochet." Hannah, you're too nice to me. You're too nice. Midnight's raising the hand. Puggy's raising the hand. Vicky's raising the hand. All right, all right. I think it's unanimous, y'all. I think we need to do a sunflower. So maybe we'll set that for Tuesday. How does everybody's schedule look for Tuesday? You want to come hang out in the crochet lounge, as JT likes to say? I don't know if I'm a lounge though. I'll tell you what, I need to wash my blanket here too, y'all. I've been looking at my blanket in the feed. I can see Diesel was jumping all over me yesterday, y'all. He got me all muddy. This morning he was out there digging in the yard, bringing in leaves and Lord only knows what. Debbie says, I hang out as much as I can. Well, I appreciate it. I know y'all have lives outside of watching Wheeler crochet. Marta, good morning. Welcome in. Um, I totally get it. I totally get it. I watch other people's lives too as much as I can, but there are times where I have to miss because I have work and just, hanging out with the hubby. I got to spend some time with him too. And, do all the things, do the housework. Pam, yes, I did get my levels tested. So here's what I found out about my iron. Can you guys tell I'm back to normal? I can actually form a thought in my brain. So here's what happened. When Mama Wheeler was here, I missed a number of days taking my meds. Ruh-roh, ruh-roh. For those that don't know, I am severely anemic and I have rheumatoid arthritis. And when I miss my meds, things start to get a little squirrely. You know what I'm saying? I really should not miss my meds, but I did. And So anyhow, what I did is I was kind of sick to my stomach there for a while because I missed so many of my iron days that I had to take some extra iron to get my blood levels back up. So all of my iron came out perfectly fine. My iron was good. My ferritin was actually really good. Like I haven't seen my ferritin that good in a while. So the hemi iron is definitely doing great for me. But what happened? I have very very like low iron saturation. So what I think that means is if I'm not putting iron into my body for my body to use to create blood cells and everything, then what happens is I crash because I don't have any iron stores, basically. And that's what happened. I wasn't getting enough iron because I missed so many days of taking my medicine that I basically crashed out. And so that's kind of what happened. So all I did was increase my iron. I started adding an iron pill at lunchtime, and this is my hemi iron that I take, and I'm back good. I'm back good. Hey, Emil, nice to see you here. Good afternoon. It is morning where I'm at. I'm getting ready to go to work, actually. So, anyhow, I just finished this little poinsettia. I'm going to stop here, guys. I'm not done with this square, but I do have to go to work. So, this is a good stopping point. I'm going to um, hop off. These petals do kind of curl up a little bit. You have to kind of flatten them out as you're doing it. Of course, it doesn't help that they were kind of wadded up in my hand as I was working on them, but they do flatten out for your little poinsettias. So if you wanted it to be like a standalone applique, it most certainly could. It does get a little curl on it though. They tend to kind of pull up. But that is the very center part of our square. This is what the finished square looks like. Really, really pretty. I used a size I9 hook for this. And so, anyhow, I think it has turned out really, really cool. Arlene, I hope you have a great day. I saw somebody else was getting there. Arlene says, I'm anemic and have to take iron as well. A lot of women are anemic. It is very common, I think, for women. Pam says, I get mine tested next week. I'm taking what you're taking. My doctor approved them. Nice, nice. Queen says it means to take better care of yourself. Queen, I need to, like right now, this is why I've been trying to end my live on time because I have to go in there. I have to at least get a bagel or a piece of toast or something. And I have to eat breakfast so I can take my pills. Last night I ate my lunch at like 3 o'clock. I didn't eat dinner. If I don't eat my dinner, I don't take my pills because I have to have food with them. So, like last night, I didn't take my pills. I have to go eat this morning and take my pills. So, I'm trying to be better, but I still miss occasionally. Last week, I was really, really good. This week, I'm back slipping a little bit. So, I need to be better. All of us have to do all the important things. Margie said, very pretty. Thank you so much. Lulu, thanks for being here. I saw all your comments, Lulu. Lulu, sorry I didn't get to answer them all. Texas Whiskey, Shay, have a great day. I hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. Y'all, I know Queen. I know I'm going to be good. I promise. I'm definitely going to be good. So stay tuned for a tutorial for this. Guys, I posted a video this morning. I don't know if anybody's seen it about my little hat stand that I made yesterday. I'm very excited. So probably before I do the poinsettia tutorial, I need to photograph some hats because Princess Wheeler is looking fabulous and I need to get these new hats I made on her and make some more content. So, friends, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the taps, all the likes, all the subscriptions, all of the gifts. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Thanks for hanging out and making it a fun day. Queen, don't make me come over there. I know, Queen. My hand has been slapped. I know. I know what I need to do. Bye, all. Have a great day.